Okay, this video is going to walk you through the photo selection process for your pages in the yearbook. This is where you're actually going to look at the submitted photos that all our photographers have taken for your assigned pages, and you're going to start to select those ones that you are going to use on the actual yearbook pages. One thing you'll need before we get started is you'll need to be logged into Mimosa, so if you haven't done that, go ahead and do so you get Holmes Journalism to pop up. Once you have it, go ahead and open our server, Holmes Journalism, and we're going to open two windows of it. So we're going to start by going to Photo Submission and double-clicking on that so we get this nice list. I'm going to come back over here to Holmes Journalism again so I get a second window popped up. I'm going to put them side by side like this. Then I'm going to open the yearbook folder. Whatever deadline we're in, this first deadline is the blue deadline, and you should see pages listed, a topic, and it says selected. This is where the photos you select for your pages are going to go. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at how many pages you actually have for that topic. Notice like tennis here is just a single page. So on a single page, we may want to select 7 photos. On a 2-page spread, like 22-23 JV 9th grade volleyball here, we may want to select 14 photos, 7 JV and 7 9th grade. So you need to look and pay attention to that. Then you've got something like band here, which is 5 pages long. You've got to think you need about 30 pictures for that one, 35 pictures, something like that. So depending on the number of pages, that's going to indicate that you need more photos. So pay attention to that when selecting. So once you know about how many photos you need based on your page count, now you can go over here to the photo submission folders and find, let's say you're doing tennis, you need to find the tennis folder. Sometimes you'll see things and they're not in folders. We'll try to get that cleaned up. But you find the tennis folder and open that up. Here are all the submitted tennis folders. Now this doesn't look like a lot, but you got to remember we have whole shoots that photographers took, and those photographers are giving you what they believe are their best photos. So it's really kind of hard to see when it's like this, and if you want to toggle between the way you view these photos, you can view them like this. I'm not crazy about that. In a list, you can view them like this. I still don't like that. This is the best view when you're browsing through photos. And you can actually get between here and make that larger if you want so you can really see what you've got. And then you can just click over here or use the up and down arrows to see what you've got. Now, when I look through here, there are some individuals, sometimes it takes a second to clear up, that are in here a lot. We got to remember on our pages that we want a good balance of people and a good balance of images. And we definitely want images that are good. If an image is blurry or it's of just the backs of heads or something like that, thankfully these photographers didn't turn in too many like that, but we're not going to use photos like that. We want great photos, clear photos, photos that tell the story of the year, that have all those things that we talked about when we talked about photography: faces, emotion, action, clarity, good composition of the photo where we can know what we're looking at in the photo, and that's what you're selecting. Remember too that if you have photos that are like kind of farther away like this, don't rule them out, because we can actually, once we put them on our pages, we can actually just use a portion of them, and we don't need to go to Photoshop and crop them or anything like that. We can actually use them how they are. So if I was shooting tennis first, I would notice that I have quite a few photos of this girl, and so we want to limit the number we do of her. We want to use the best, maybe 2 of her, and then try to get some other people in there. So if you notice that, there's a lot coming through there. And we want a variety of things going on. We don't want them all just playing tennis. We want sometimes there to be some social interactions, things like this. Find the best one of those. So what I would do is, if I find photos I really like, I'm going to take that photo. I'm going to click over here. Be careful not to click just on the name like this, because you can accidentally delete the name. You can click over here to the side of the name. You're going to click. You're going to drag over to the tennis folder. You're going to hover over it so that it highlights tennis selected and drop it in. If you actually look in your folder then, which you can open it that way or open it this way, you can see the folders the photos you've selected. So I would go through then and pick out a nice variety of about 7 photos that I think would look nice on that page. Now remember, when you're picking these, don't be biased. Be an ethical journalist, be an ethical yearbooker. Don't put someone in there just because you know them. Pick the best photos that tell the best stories. Okay? That's going to make a great yearbook. Once you have enough photos selected in that photo turn-in folder, then you'll need to go to the next phase, which is getting approval for them and creating a contact sheet.